Thank you for tuning in for another episode of Spotlight with the Schumans. And today we have another guest with us, Coach Alexis Parker, and she coaches the high school girls basketball team for South Effingham. Thank you for being on my show.
Thank you for having me.
And I'm gonna have a few questions for you.
Okay.
So you play basketball. So what made you start coaching?
Ooh, good one. I think just wanting to give back, knowing that I wanted to be a specific um, role model to the community, but also just wanting to be back around it. I knew that I wasn't going to go play professional or wasn't going to go overseas. So I still wanted to be around it, still wanted to make sure that I was making an impact on the game of basketball. So when I came from college, I started coaching the AAU program and fell right into coaching high school.
So what do you think is important about players being able to listen and take things in?
Yeah, so listening is always a huge thing because if you don't listen, you won't hear. Okay, if you can't hear or you don't hear, you won't be able to effectively comprehend what's being said. But I think comprehension is more important than listening. So making sure that my players, making sure any kid that I train, even my students, making sure they're comprehending the information that I'm giving to make sure that they're getting it.
So you play for college ball at Prairie View. What's the difference between high school and college basketball?
Oh, huge difference. The speed, the commitment, the hours that you put in, just the time, the prioritizing your schedule the right way. Your diet has to be a specific way, making sure you're taking care of your body, your health, and just really the hours, the hour difference. High school, you may practice 2 hours. College, you're doing practices, you're doing workouts throughout the day, you're doing weight training, you're doing study hall. So it's definitely a different change of schedule.
What would you say for players that want to go to the next level? What would you have to say for what they have to do to get to that level?
They just got to be willing to work and put the extra hours in. They got to be committed. They got to be honest with themselves. So is it truly what they desire to do at the next level and doing what the next person won't? And that's just the hard part of it because sometimes it's difficult. It's difficult. You're gonna face some adversities. You're gonna face some hardships. But how you fight through those adversities and how you persevere. That's the word that I use all the time. Your perseverance through it all. So definitely not so much always about the skill and the level of what you can do in your position. It's always about the perseverance. So how you persevere through what you're facing.
Okay, so what was your decision to go to the HBCU?
Oh, so I wanted small. The biggest thing was wanting to have smaller classrooms, more smaller, intimate classrooms where my professors knew me by name, not by number. So the teacher or the professor to student ratio was big for me. Also, the family environment. So at HBCU, we were able to know the alumni. Um, Everybody knew you if you were an athlete. The support system, and then even after when you graduate, the alumni base is just so supportive. That their resources, their extended love that they still give you once you graduate, that was big for me.
Okay, so what was like practices like to the competition and your teammates push you to your max?
Practices were intense. There was times where I didn't agree with my teammates, both good and bad. Sometimes I just really I didn't understand it when I first got there. I didn't understand that I knew I had to work hard, but I didn't understand the level of accountability that I needed to be my best version. So I definitely had some arguments, some locker room disagreements. But understanding that, when you have teammates that want the best out of you and you're a key factor to that program or to that team, it just gives you the motivation to fight through it all.
So what would you say is the importance of practicing like you playing games?
It's a direct translation. So if you practice going through the motions, if you practice lazy, if you're showing up to practice late, if you're taking reps off, if you're cheating and cutting the corners on laps, I mean that's the result you're gonna get in the game. That fourth quarter time and that extra rep that you took off, or that rep that you didn't push as hard when you were tired in practice, it shows in the game. You begin to get gas fast, and just small things like listening to your coach and paying attention to details in practice, so you can see those things in the game. It's definitely a direct translation.
What advice would you give to parents that their kids want to go to the next level?
Definitely hold the kids accountable. So if they're supposed to be at practice at a certain time or a specific day, make sure they're there. Parents got to be just as committed as the kid. So again, like I said, practice and game time is a direct correlation, from the parent and the player. If the parent is pushing and always supportive and making sure that they're there on those important dates and on time and holding them accountable, it's pretty easy to coach that. And that's what college coaches look for. They look for a great support system. That's huge when it comes to recruiting. Because if you got a parent in the stands going crazy and saying remarks to the referee and just not carrying themselves in the right conduct, that could run off certain scholarships. So always be the example. I would tell them to be the example that they want their child to be.
Okay, so final minutes, and what's it like? What's your blood pressure like? What's it like going through those last final minutes?
Those final minutes and the shot on me. Oh, the shot on me.
Or you could pass anything.
I'm probably not passing the ball. I'm not passing the ball. The final minutes, I'd rather it be on me than it be on one of my teammates. Definitely, I love pressure moments. Even in life, I love pressure moments. It's what makes you, it builds your character. It's what molds you to be one of the best players, a good person. So I live for those moments. I wanted the ball. Like, I didn't shy away from the ball. I didn't hide behind the opponents or my teammates. Like, I wanted the ball. Like, give me the ball so I could score. Okay. But I think those moments are the other character builder moments. So I embed that in my players, and I want my players to want to be the last shot taker.
Okay, so and last question, what was your experience at an HBCU?
The experience was great. Again, smaller school. So again, everybody knew who you were. Campus life was amazing. So of course you had the party life, you had the social events, you had the fraternities and sororities. You had the full package in the HBCU. Our facilities were top notch. We were able to always have sold out or close to sold out games. So even knowing your fans, because the community was such a supportive community, you were able to know people by name. So I loved it. I wouldn't have changed it even if I would have gotten my dream school, Duke University. I had some big offers, but I definitely wouldn't have changed my decision.
Okay, and that was the last question. And thank you for being on my show.
Thank you for having me.
And we out.
We out.